Ever feel like there's got to be some secret cheat code to life, you know? Like if you could just peek behind the curtain and see how someone else navigated all the chaos and actually came out stronger, maybe you could unlock that next level in your own life.
Today, we're going deep on Steve Harvey. Not the suits and jokes guy you see on TV, but the real deal. The experiences that shaped him, the tough choices, the moments where he had to figure it all out. And we're getting this straight from the source, Steve Harvey himself.
Exactly. It's about understanding the man behind the persona. We're digging into Steve Harvey's own reflections on those turning points, the strategies that kept him going, and the hard-won lessons that only come from really going through it. Think of it as getting a backstage pass to a life filled with both mountains to climb and massive wins.
Right. It's like those old behind the music episodes, but for personal growth and resilience. We're drawing from his writings, interviews, the moments where he really opens up about his own journey. And what we want to do today is pull out those nuggets of wisdom, the real aha moments that could spark something new in your own thinking. Maybe you're facing a challenge right now, or maybe you're aiming for something huge, but whatever it is, there's something in here for everyone.
And to break it down in a way that makes sense, we're going to look at how he took those inevitable failures and used them as fuel. How his idea of success evolved over time, the constant thread of personal growth, the sheer range of things he's tackled in his career, the deep commitment to giving back and empowering others, and of course some very practical strategies that we can all learn from based on his experiences.
Okay, so let's jump right into the deep end. Failure. It's that thing nobody likes to talk about, but we've all been there, right? And Steve Harvey's early days, man, they weren't exactly smooth sailing. We're talking boxing, insurance sales, hitting those comedy clubs night after night. Definitely some rough patches in the beginning.
Absolutely. The material really paints a clear picture. He didn't just magically appear as a success story. He stumbled, he fell, he had to navigate major setbacks across very different fields. But what's fascinating isn't just that he failed, it's how he chose to process those experiences. He didn't let them define him. He didn't become the sum of his setbacks.
Right. It's like he had this mental shift and started seeing those missteps almost as data points, like feedback. Okay, this didn't work, so what can I learn from it? What needs to be adjusted? It wasn't about blindly getting back up. It was about getting up with more knowledge, more awareness.
Exactly. And there's this genuinely refreshing aspect to his story where he talks about finding the humor in those early, less glamorous moments. Being able to laugh at your stumbles, that's a huge tool for resilience, wouldn't you say? Keeps you from dwelling in the negative.
Totally. It really highlights the power of choosing your mindset. It's what we call a grossing set. Failure isn't the final destination. It's a detour, a chance to course correct, gain experience, and ultimately get closer to success. But here's what really struck me. It wasn't just blind optimism fueling this, right?
Not at all. It was persistence, for sure. The sources really emphasize that. But it was a strategic kind of persistence. He was constantly evaluating, refining his approach based on those setbacks. It's about knowing when to pivot slightly, when to adjust the sails, but never losing sight of the bigger goal.
And it wasn't a solo mission either, this whole process of learning and adapting. Something that stood out in the materials is how actively he sought feedback, how open he was to criticism, which, let's be honest, can be a tough thing to stomach, especially in a creative field where your ego's involved.
It absolutely can be. But the narrative suggests that Steve Harvey viewed criticism almost as a shortcut.
Yeah.
It's like he was thinking, okay, someone's pointing out a blind spot, that's valuable information. So instead of getting defensive, he seemed to use it to improve his craft, his comedic timing, the way he connected with his audience. It's about seeing feedback as a gift, even if it comes wrapped in a less than ideal package.
So for everyone listening who might be going through their own version of those rough early days, the big takeaways from Steve Harvey's experience with failure seem to be: stay positive, keep that learning mindset, be persistent but make it smart and adaptable, really work on cultivating that growth mindset that sees setbacks as temporary, and be brave enough to invite feedback and actually consider it.
Precisely. It's about shifting your perspective. Imagine turning failure from an enemy into, well, maybe not a friend, but at least a teacher who pushes you to grow, even if it's not always comfortable.
All right, so he's learning from those initial setbacks, building resilience. Now let's shift gears and look at how his vision for success began to crystallize. That win at the National Comedy Competition seems like a real turning point in the story.
Oh, absolutely. The way it's described in the sources, it was this moment of validation, not just a feeling of, hey, I think I'm good at this, but real external recognition that solidified his commitment to a career in entertainment. It gave him a concrete sense of what was possible.
And then the move into radio and television, it feels like that must have really broadened his perspective, right, in terms of what he could accomplish and who he could reach.
For sure. These new platforms exposed him to a much wider audience and opened up different avenues for connecting with people. His vision likely grew from just telling jokes on a stage to impacting a larger culture through different forms of media. It's a natural evolution when new doors start opening.
And then the Steve Harvey show on the WB, that felt like another significant marker, showing his ability to connect with people on a deeper, more personal level, not just through stand-up.
Definitely. That sitcom allowed him to blend humor with relatable storytelling in a way that resonated with a huge audience week after week. It showed he wasn't just a funny guy. He could create characters and stories that people connected with emotionally. It hinted at his ability to have an impact beyond just making people laugh.
Then there's the unexpected success of Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man. It seemed to take him beyond the world of comedy and introduce him to a whole new audience. What's your take on that transition?
It's fascinating. That book really positioned him as a voice of authority on relationships and personal dynamics. It showed that he could take the lessons he'd learned from his own life, the ups and downs, and articulate them in a way that resonated with people and provided genuine value, but in a completely different format. It significantly expanded his sphere of influence.
And looking at the creation of the Steve and Marjorie Harvey Foundation, that seems to signal an even broader definition of success, one that incorporates giving back and community involvement.
It does. The foundation points to a deeper understanding of success, one that goes beyond personal achievements and financial rewards. It's about using his platform and resources to make a tangible difference in the lives of others, particularly young people. It suggests that true success includes leaving a legacy that extends beyond yourself.
So if you connect those dots, his vision of success wasn't static. It was this dynamic thing, a mix of personal growth, hitting professional milestones, and that desire to make a positive impact. And it evolved, it took shape through these key moments in his career.
Exactly. It reinforces the idea that success isn't a fixed point you reach. It's an ongoing journey of figuring out what truly matters to you and how you want to contribute to the world around you. It's about constantly refining your own definition of success.
Okay, so he's learning from failures, his vision is expanding. Now let's talk about the theme of personal growth. Even with fame and success, the material suggests this ongoing dedication to leveling up, to self-improvement.
Yes. It's notable how consistently he's committed to learning and getting better, even after reaching a certain level of recognition. Think about it. Venturing into different areas of television hosting, becoming a published author, these weren't just natural progressions from doing stand-up.
Right. He wasn't content to just rest on his laurels. This drive to keep growing, that seems to be a big part of why he's remained relevant and continues to connect with people.
The narrative really underscores how that willingness to learn new things, adapt to new situations, it allowed him to thrive in the ever-changing world of entertainment and find new ways to expand his influence. He embraced challenges and stepped outside his comfort zone, which is crucial for growth.
And it wasn't just about professional skills, was it? There are hints in the material about a broader openness to experience, a willingness to learn from both the good and the bad in his journey.
That's an important point. Personal growth isn't just about climbing the career ladder. It's about a more holistic openness to life, a willingness to consider new perspectives and extract valuable lessons from every experience, whether it's a win or a loss. It's about growing as a human being.
And it sounds like he understood the importance of personal well-being, too, taking care of his health, nurturing his relationships. That stuff's crucial for sustainable growth.
Absolutely. The sources touch on how much importance he placed on those things, on personal wellness and strong relationships, in parallel with his professional pursuits. It reinforces the idea that real success and fulfillment require balance across all facets of life, physical, emotional, and even spiritual.
And what's interesting is how he then uses his platform to encourage others to do the same, almost taking on this mentorship role through his books, speeches, media appearances.
Yeah, he's not just focused on his own personal development. He's actively sharing the wisdom he's gained to inspire and guide others on their own paths of self-improvement. This desire to uplift those around him seems like a core part of who he is.
So the core message about personal growth from Steve Harvey's experience seems to be that it's not a destination, it's a lifelong journey. It's crucial for long-term success and a truly fulfilling life, and it encompasses all dimensions of who you are.
It's a commitment to ongoing evolution, to becoming the best version of yourself.
Now let's talk about the sheer variety of things Steve Harvey has done in his career. It's pretty remarkable. Stand-up comedy, TV hosting, author, youth advocate. It's a real testament to the power of diversifying your efforts.
Absolutely. His career path, which spans so many different fields, is a powerful illustration of how diversifying your skill set and exploring different avenues can not only broaden your impact, but also open up new opportunities. It's a smart strategy, particularly in today's world.
Just think about his transition from stand-up to hosting talk shows and game shows. Those require quite different skills.
What stands out is his ability to adapt his style and connect with different audiences in each of those formats. Every new role pushed him to learn new skills and step outside of his comfort zone, highlighting his adaptability and willingness to embrace new challenges.
And then there's his foray into writing with Act Like a Lady, Think Like a Man becoming a huge success.
That's a perfect example of leveraging your unique experiences and perspectives and finding new ways to communicate them and provide value to others. It allowed him to reach a much wider audience and have an impact beyond the world of entertainment.
And we can't overlook his philanthropic work, especially the Steve Harvey mentoring program. That's a serious commitment.
It really is. He's using his success and influence to create opportunities for young people, demonstrating a dedication to something bigger than himself.
So his diversified career path shows how exploring different interests and opportunities not only enriches your own journey, but also expands your capacity to make a difference. It's about resilience, about having multiple avenues of contribution.
It's about not putting all your eggs in one basket. It's about recognizing that your skills and passions can intersect in unexpected and impactful ways.
A theme that comes up again and again when you look at Steve Harvey's story is this strong focus on empowering others, especially young people.
Absolutely. This dedication to mentoring and providing opportunities for youth through the camps, the programs, it's a consistent thread throughout his journey. It clearly comes from a deep belief in the power of guidance and giving back to the next generation.
That annual mentoring camp for young men, with its focus on building character, teaching responsibility, and developing leadership skills, that seems particularly impactful.
From what the sources describe, these programs directly address the challenges many young men face, equipping them with practical life skills, offering educational support, and perhaps most importantly, surrounding them with positive role models and a vision for their future. It's a very hands-on approach to making a difference.
And it's not just limited to those structured programs. It seems like he's always using his broader platform on the radio, on TV, to share messages of encouragement, to talk about the importance of perseverance.
Exactly. He understands the power of his platform, and he uses it intentionally to uplift and inspire a wider audience. It's like he's acting as a mentor to countless people who might not have the chance to attend his programs in person.
And the material really emphasizes his authenticity, the way he's willing to talk about his own struggles right alongside his successes. That must be a big part of why his message resonates with so many people.
Definitely. By being open about his own journey, about the setbacks he's faced and the lessons he's learned, he creates a sense of connection and makes his message of hope and possibility all the more powerful. People are more likely to trust someone who they feel understands their own challenges.
So when you look at his overall legacy, these efforts to empower the next generation seem like they'll be a huge part of it. It's not just about entertainment, it's about investing in the future.
It's about creating a ripple effect, planting seeds of potential, and nurturing the growth of future leaders.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, exploring different facets of Steve Harvey's journey. Now, let's distill this down to some actionable strategies, some key principles that our listeners can take away and apply in their own lives, whatever their goals may be.
Let's do it. There's a lot of practical wisdom to be gleaned from his experiences.
First, that recurring theme of embracing failure. It's not just about getting over it, it's about actually learning from those setbacks.
Right. It's about shifting your perspective and seeing those failures as opportunities for growth, as stepping stones on the path to success. Take the time to analyze what went wrong, figure out what you can learn from it, and then use that knowledge to adjust your approach. Don't let setbacks define you.
Then there's this idea of having a clear vision, but also staying flexible and open to those unexpected opportunities that life throws your way.
Absolutely. It's important to have goals, to know where you're headed, but don't be so rigid that you miss out on new possibilities. Be willing to explore different paths, even if they weren't part of your original plan. Steve Harvey's diverse career is a perfect example of how embracing the unexpected can lead to incredible outcomes.
We've also seen how much emphasis he puts on continuous self-improvement.
That's essential. Make a commitment to lifelong learning, to constantly expanding your skills and knowledge. Invest in your personal and professional development, just like he did by taking on new challenges and stepping outside of his comfort zone.
And don't be afraid to explore those diverse interests you have, even if they seem unrelated to your main path.
Diversify your efforts. You never know how those seemingly disparate interests might connect and create new opportunities. You might even discover hidden talents and passions you didn't know you had.
And finally, and this seems like a fundamental value for Steve Harvey, make a conscious effort to uplift and support others.
Yes, find ways to give back. Mentor someone, volunteer your time, use your success to create opportunities for those who are coming up behind you. It's not only incredibly fulfilling, but it also contributes to a better world for everyone.
So, if we can take these principles to heart, embrace those failures as teachers, have a vision but stay open to new paths, commit to continuous growth, explore diverse interests, and find ways to give back, we're setting ourselves up for a more resilient, impactful, and ultimately more fulfilling life.
They're not just feel-good concepts. They're practical guidelines for success and personal fulfillment.
So what we've seen from this deep dive into Steve Harvey's journey is that the path to success is rarely a straight line. It's full of twists and turns, moments of triumph and moments of setback. But what really stands out is his unwavering resilience, his adaptability, his willingness to evolve, and that deep commitment to giving back and empowering others.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What's one area in your own life where looking at a past failure from a new perspective, or maybe considering an opportunity you hadn't thought of before, could unlock some serious growth?
There's a ton of wisdom to be found in Steve Harvey's story. Take some time to really reflect on these principles and see how they resonate with your own experiences, your own aspirations, your own definition of success.
At the end of the day, like Steve Harvey often says, your destiny isn't something that's just handed to you. You actively shape it, one lesson, one choice, one step at a time.